I was holding the keys to an $850,000 penthouse, a wedding gift for my son Tyler, when a strange number texted me, "Don't go to the wedding. Run." I thought it was a cruel joke. I called back right away. The voice belonged to a man I hadn't spoken to in 15 years. What he told me in 3 minutes broke my whole world apart. Thank you for being here with me today. Before I go on, tell me, where are you joining from? Please, leave your city in the comments. A quick note, this story has some details changed for privacy and storytelling, but the heart of it, the betrayal, the cost of truth, is real. Now let me continue. The keys to the penthouse felt icy against my hand. $850,000 was the most expensive gift I had ever bought, but standing in that empty apartment in Midtown Atlanta, with huge glass windows framing the city skyline I had helped build, over 40 years, the money did not matter at all. What mattered was the look I imagined on Tyler's face when I handed him these keys. The October sun made everything look like gold. I had arrived in this city in 1984 with nothing but a tie, school diploma, and a hunger for a better life. 40 years later, I own 10 big buildings across Atlanta. Not bad for a kid who started out sleeping in his car between construction jobs. I walked through the empty living room, my steps echoing off the wood floors. Tyler would love this space, the modern kitchen, the balcony looking over the park. It was everything I dreamed of having at his age but could not afford until I was 50. Margaret would have cried seeing this place. My wife passed away 8 years ago and never got to meet the woman Tyler would. Mary? But she would understand this gift was not just kindness. It was an apology for all those missed dinners, those baseball games I had worked through. It was a promise that Tyler would start his marriage better than we started. Ours. The final papers sat on the counter, ready for my signature. I would sign them tomorrow and surprise Tyler with the keys at next Friday's rehearsal dinner. 9 days until the wedding. 9 days until I walked my son down the aisle. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. The message made my blood turn cold. "Don't go to your son's wedding. Run." I stared at the screen, read it twice, 3 times. My thumb hovered, then pressed call. It rang endlessly. No voicemail, no answer, just a mechanical ringing that mocked me. I tried again and again. By the 10th attempt, my hand was shaking. The smart part of my brain, the part that had negotiated $1 million deals without blinking, insisted this was a prank, a wrong number, a bachelor party joke. But that other voice, the gut feeling that had guided me through 40 years of the business, whispered something different. I forced myself to focus on the papers, signed each document with robot-like care. The penthouse was Tyler's now. Whatever that message meant, it would not change my love for my son. I locked the door, put the keys in my pocket, and they suddenly felt heavier. The elevator ride down felt longer than usual. In the parking garage, I checked over my shoulder 3 times. Sitting in my car, I stared at that message one more time. "Don't go to your son's wedding. Run." I deleted it, started the engine. Some unknown number with a strange message was not going to ruin my son's big day. I had no idea that in 9 days I would wish I had listened to that warning. Friday night, almost midnight. I had tried that unknown number 17 times since leaving the penthouse. When my phone finally rang, I nearly dropped my glass. "Hello?" My voice came out rough, desperate. "Theodore, this is Philip Warren." The name hit me like a punch to the chest. Philip Warren, my former business partner, the man I had trusted with half my company until drugs destroyed him 8 years ago. We'd parted ways with lawyers and fights, me buying him out while he fell apart. Philip, after 8 years, you. I know I am sorry for the strange message. His voice sounded older, worn out. I needed to be certain before I told you what I heard. My hand tightened around the phone. "What did you hear?" "Tuesday morning. I was at that coffee shop in Midtown, the one near the park, working on my laptop. Tyler came in with a woman and a man in a suit. They sat at the corner table. Theodore. They were there for 40 minutes. I heard everything. My stomach dropped. Everything about what? About you?" Philip's silence felt heavy. "The woman? Is that Vanessa?" His fiancée? Yes, she kept saying. The old man barely checks documents anymore. Tyler laughed. He said you signed everything without reading, that you trusted him completely. The drink turned sour in my mouth. Signed. What? Trust papers? They called them? Something about changing your estate. But Theodore, they were not talking about protecting your money. They were talking about selling it all off. My office suddenly felt too small. Selling it off? After the honeymoon? They have a buyer lined up. Summit Capital Group. The lawyer with them kept saying it was foolproof, that you had already allowed the transfers months ago. That is impossible. I would never. But even as I said it, doubt crept in. Had Tyler asked me to sign something? Estate planning documents? When was that time? There's more, Philip continued. Tyler said something about once the old man is in a care home, and they were laughing. Vanessa talked about how quickly they could move once you were declared unfit. Theodore, I think they are planning to have you declared mentally unfit. My own son? The words came out as a whisper. No, you heard wrong. Tyler Wood and I sat 20 feet away for 40 minutes. I heard the attorney discuss the timeline, the process, how to make it look real. This woman, Vanessa, she knows doctors who could provide the right diagnosis for a price. My vision blurred. The family photo on my desk, Tyler's graduation 5 years ago. Both of us smiling. His arm around my shoulders seemed to mock me now. Philip, why are you telling me this? Why now? You disappeared 8 years ago. We haven't spoken since. Since you saved my life by forcing me into rehab. Even though I hated you for it. His voice cracked. I have been sober 6 years, Theodore. I run a recovery program now. I was at that coffee shop for a meeting with a client. When I heard Tyler's voice, I almost left. But then I heard what they were planning. It can't be true. Theodore, listen to me. They mentioned having everything ready right after the wedding. You don't have weeks to figure this out. You have days, maybe less. The line went quiet except for my rough breathing. What papers? I finally asked. What did I sign? That is what you need to find out. Fast before Saturday. The call ended. I sat in the darkness of my office staring at that graduation photo. 5 years ago, Tyler had hugged me tight and said, Thanks for everything, Dad. I couldn't have done it without you. What happened between that moment and Tuesday morning at a coffee shop? My hands were shaking as I reached for my filing cabinet. Somewhere in there were documents Tyler had asked me to sign. Estate planning, he had said. Routine trust changes. I had no idea what I was about to find. Saturday morning came too early. I had barely slept 3 hours before I was tearing through my home office files, searching for the papers Philip had warned me about. Cabinet drawers hit the floor. Folders spilled across my desk. 40 years of business documents scattered like leaves. But I didn't care about the mess. I needed to find what Tyler had tricked me into signing. Then memories surfaced, sharp and clear. 3 weeks ago, late September, Wednesday evening, Tyler had shown up around 7, carrying a leather folder. Dad, my attorney needs you to sign some estate planning documents. I had been reviewing contracts for a property deal. Barely looked up. Estate planning. Just routine trust changes. Protects the family assets. He had set the papers on my desk, casual as discussing the weather. Thomas Sullivan recommended we update these every few years. Thomas Sullivan, my own attorney's name. Of course, I trusted it. Your attorney talked to Tom. Yeah, they coordinated on the language. Tyler had smiled that easy smile. You know how lawyers are. Everything in 3 copies. I had picked up my pen. Where do I sign? Initial here. Sign here. Date here. His finger moved down the pages. We can discuss wedding details while you are at it. Vanessa wants your opinion on the reception menu. And like a fool, I signed page after page, barely reading, discussing fish versus steak while authorizing my own destruction. Tyler had gathered the documents, kissed my cheek, left whistling. That was 3 weeks ago. Now, in my devastated office, I found the copies. The folder was labeled Estate Planning 2024 in my own handwriting. I had filed them myself, trusting my son, never questioning what I had actually signed. My hands shook as I spread the documents across my desk. Not trust changes, A power of attorney, giving Tyler authority over my financial decisions. A property transfer forms to something called Grant Family LLC. I grabbed my laptop, fingers clumsy on the keyboard. Business registry search, Grant Family LLC. The results loaded, registered August 15th, 2024. Manager, Tyler Andrew Grant. Members, Tyler Andrew Grant. My name appeared nowhere. Not as a member, not as an owner, not even as an agent. Grant Family LLC, my family name on a company I didn't own, created by my son to steal from me. I kept reading through the horror draft sales agreement between Grant Family LLC and Summit Capital Group, dated September 15th, 2024. Purchase price $18 million. Property descriptions, all 10 of my buildings. Market value $45 million. They were selling my life's work for 60 cents on the dollar. The attorney's name appeared on every document's bottom. Derek Walsh, Esquire. I stared at that name. Derek Walsh. Something about it nagged at my memory, like a word on the tip of my tongue. Had I met him? Worked with him? The name felt familiar in a way I couldn't place. But there wasn't time to figure that out now. My own signature stared back at me from document after document. Theodore Grant, signed and dated September 20th, 2024, the day Tyler had come with his leather portfolio and his practiced lies. I had been so proud that Tyler wanted to learn the business, wanted to understand estate planning, wanted to be responsible. He had been learning, all right, learning exactly which documents would let him steal everything I had built. I grabbed my phone from the desk, scrolled through contacts until I found the name I needed. Michael Torres, private investigator. I had used him for employee background checks, tenant screenings, checks on business partners. Now I needed him to investigate my own son. The phone rang twice before he answered. Michael, it's Theodore Grant. I need a deep background check on 2 people, and I need it fast. How fast are we talking? Yesterday wasn't soon enough. Before I share what the private investigator told me, I need to hear from you. If you are still here, comment, I am listening. This next reveal changes everything, and I want to make sure you are ready. Also, just so you know, this story continues with some details adjusted for storytelling and privacy purposes. If you need everything to be literal fact, this might be a good place to pause. But if you are invested in the truth behind the story, let's go deeper. By Saturday afternoon, I had made the call. Michael Torres, my private investigator, answered immediately. Michael, I need deep background on Vanessa Price and Attorney Derek Walsh, everything fast. Give me 4 hours. When he called back at 7:30, his voice was grim. Vanessa Price has $340,000 in credit card debt, maxed out in 18 months. Luxury spending, travel, shopping. Tyler has $95,000 in personal loans, bought a Porsche she can't afford, signed a lease on an $8,500 apartment in August. They are both drowning financially. My stomach knotted. The business Grant Family LLC formed an August sales agreement with Summit Capital, $18 million for properties worth $45. That is a 60% loss. There is more. Michael paused. Vanessa's legal name until 2019 was Stephanie Walsh. The room spun. Walsh. Like Derek Walsh, her brother? She changed her name in March 2019. Complete identity change. Memory hit me like a freight train. 15 years ago, Derek Walsh, a 20-year-old intern, bright and eager, I had mentored him personally. Then I had caught him faking property values, making a failing investment look good to deceive buyers. I trusted you, I told him. I gave you the chance. His fraud, his twisted rage. You are destroying my career. You destroyed it yourself. Get out. At the door he turned. You will regret this, Mr. Grant. One day you will regret this. I dismissed it as an empty threat. Now I understood. After you fired him, Michael continued, Derek was blacklisted from major firms. He has been practicing from a small East Atlanta office ever since. His career never recovered. I pulled up Derek's website, same calculating eyes, 15 years older. His sister would have been 13 when I fired him. How did she meet Tyler? Michael called back 30 minutes later. Atlanta Real Estate Summit, June 2021. The conference you sent Tyler to. She approached him at the reception. They were dating within a month. She hunted him. Yes, sir. My son had been targeted. Stephanie Walsh had changed her identity, tracked his movements, positioned herself to destroy me through him. But then I remembered Philip's recording, Tyler's laughter about the old man, his excitement about selling my assets. She manipulated him initially, I said slowly, but he chose to continue. He knew about the fake documents. He laughed about putting me in a care home. I looked at the calendar. October 12th, wedding. In 6 days. This isn't just greed. It is a 15-year revenge plot. The Walsh family wants everything I built, and Tyler became their willing partner. I stood at my window, looking into darkness. They think they have won. They have no idea what a 40 years of business experience can do in 6 days. What is your next move? Monday morning, I am calling my attorney. We are going to war. Sunday evening arrived with the weight of everything I now knew. Tyler had invited me to dinner at my own home, his childhood home, for a pre-wedding family celebration. I smiled when I opened the door. The performance had begun. Tyler and Vanessa arrived with wine and flowers. I hugged them both, complimented Vanessa's dress, played the proud father perfectly. Inside, my thoughts ran dark. She is wearing white, practicing for Saturday. I wonder how long she has worn this mask, or if 3 years of lies is a personal record. Over dinner, Tyler gushed about their honeymoon plans. 2 weeks in the Maldives. Dad, overwater bungalows, private beaches. Sounds expensive. We have been saving. The lie came easily. They were drowning in debt. Vanessa smiled sweetly. Theodore, have you thought about retirement? You have worked so hard for so long. I played along. Retirement? I suppose eventually. You should enjoy your golden years. Let the younger generation handle the stress. Every question probed my plans, my willingness to step back. Tyler leaned forward. Actually, Dad, I have been thinking about the business. After the honeymoon, I would love to discuss taking on more responsibility. We can talk about that, knowing they plan to take everything. Then, Vanessa mentioned casually, my brother has been so helpful with the legal work. Derek really knows estate planning. My heart pounded, but I kept my voice steady. Your brother is an attorney. That is wonderful. I don't think you have mentioned him before. Oh, we are very close. He has been practicing for years. I filed that away. She was acknowledging Derek publicly now. Excuse me a moment. I stood, walked toward the bathroom. In the hallway, I activated my phone's voice recorder, set it on the bookshelf near the dining room, then closed the bathroom door loudly. Through the phone app, I heard everything. Tyler's voice low. I think he suspects anything, Vanessa. He signed everything without reading. Your father is too trusting. Derek says the documents are foolproof. Once we are married and back from the honeymoon, we move fast. My brother knows Theodore better than Theodore knows himself. 15 years planning every detail. Tyler laughed. Old man has no idea what is coming. He will be in some care facility while we are running his empire. Our empire. We have earned it. Damn right. After all the times he chose work over me growing up, I stood in the bathroom, hands braced against the sink, hearing every word through my phone. My son, my only child, laughing about destroying me. I took 3 deep breaths, splashed cold water on my face, and returned with a smile. The rest of dinner was agony. They discussed wedding details, flowers, seating charts, the band, while I nodded and smiled, playing the clueless father. At 9 o'clock, they prepared to leave. Tyler hugged me tight. Love you, Dad. Thanks for everything. I love you too, son. The words felt like glass in my throat. The last time I would say them and mean it. After they left, I retrieved my phone and played the recording. Tyler's voice filled my empty house. Old man has no idea what is coming. I had my confirmation. Every word recorded, time-stamped, crystal clear. Tyler wasn't just a victim in this conspiracy. He was an eager participant, laughing about putting his father in a care home, planning to steal 40 years of my life's work. Vanessa, Stephanie, had hunted him for 3 years, but Tyler had embraced the hunt. I saved the recording with trembling fingers. Monday morning, I would take this to my attorney, But first I needed to ensure justice would be served loudly, publicly, completely. Monday morning, I sat across from Thomas Sullivan in his downtown Atlanta office. The evidence folders between us painted a damning picture, and I had barely begun explaining. Tom, tell me what you know about Derek Walsh. Thomas typed on his computer. His face changed. Derek Walsh? Theodore? You fired this man in 2009? I remember. What I didn't know was he would spend 15 years planning revenge. Thomas read the file. Caught faking property values. You reported him? He was blacklisted from major firms. He has been advising my son on how to steal my company using insider knowledge from his internship. That is a massive ethics breach. Thomas leaned forward. His sister changed her name and dated Tyler for 3 years. Family operation, coordinated revenge. I spread the evidence across his conference table. Fake power of attorney documents, Grant Family LLC formation, with Tyler as sole owner, sales agreement, $18 million for properties worth $45 million. Michael Torres's investigation report showing Stephanie Walsh's name change and 3-year targeting timeline. Then I played the recording from Sunday dinner. Tyler's voice filled the office. Old man has no idea what is coming. He will be in some care facility while we are running his empire. Vanessa's voice. My brother knows Theodore better than Theodore knows himself. 15 years planning every detail. Thomas's expression darkened with each revelation. This isn't just civil fraud, he said quietly. This is a criminal conspiracy, wire fraud, forgery, identity tricks. Derek used private information from 15 years ago to forge documents that look real to you because he knew exactly which papers you would trust, how you would review them, what language you would accept. Thomas pulled up a legal pad. Here is what we do. First, we challenge every document Tyler had you sign, arguing fraud, not unfitness, but deception by trusted family. Second, formal complaint to the Georgia Bar Association against Derek Walsh for using privileged information and advising felony crimes. Third, contact the FBI's white-collar crime division. The fake Summit Capital deal is wire fraud. Fourth, emergency order stopping Grant Family LLC from any transactions. Fifth, change my will immediately. Everything to Atlanta Housing Foundation. Tyler gets 0. Cannot be changed. Thomas made notes. And the wedding itself, I want everyone to know, family, friends, business associates, all of them. Public exposure means no taking it back. Tyler will face criminal charges. He made his choice. He laughed about putting me in a care home. I kept my voice steady. They planned this in darkness. I will expose it in daylight. What do you need from me? Help me arrange the final pieces. The week moved quickly. Tuesday, I met Special Agent Rodriguez from the FBI. She took the case immediately. Wire fraud, conspiracy, forged documents, federal charges coming. Wednesday, I signed the new will in Thomas's office. My entire estate to Atlanta Housing Foundation. Tyler cut out completely, filed and notarized. Thursday, Thomas filed the ethics complaint with the Georgia Bar. Derek Walsh would face losing his license for using privileged client information to commit crimes. Friday morning, a judge approved the emergency order. Grant Family LLC was frozen. No transactions, no transfers, nothing. All week I maintained the mask with Tyler. Text messages about wedding details, seating arrangements, vendor confirmations. I responded with fake enthusiasm, playing the proud father one last time. Friday evening, I sat alone in my office, reviewing everything. Legal protections in place, FBI standing by, evidence compiled. The wedding was tomorrow. I had spent 40 years building an empire. Tyler and the Walsh siblings had spent 3 years plotting to steal it, but they had made one critical mistake. They had taught me their entire plan. Tomorrow, I would return the education. Saturday morning, October 19th, I stood before my bedroom mirror, adjusting my tie for my son's wedding. My hands didn't shake. 40 years in business had taught me that the most important negotiations required the calmest face. I chose my best charcoal gray suit from my safe. I retrieved Margaret's wedding ring and slipped it into my pocket, a reminder of what family should be. On my dresser sat photos spanning 30 years. Tyler at 5, missing teeth and grinning. Tyler at 15, moody but still mine. Tyler at 25, arm around my shoulders. When did I lose him? I arrived at Piedmont Garden Venue at 2 o'clock. The elegant outdoor space overlooked manicured lawns. 150 guests were arriving. Colleagues, friends, family members who had no idea what they were about to witness. Theodore. Proud day. Lawrence Palmer shook my hand enthusiastically. Diane Richardson hugged me. Tyler, so lucky to have you. Stephen Hughes clapped my shoulder. That penthouse? Incredibly generous. Each compliment cut like a knife. Then I saw him. Derek Walsh, 15 years older. Those same calculating eyes. Expensive suit, confident walk, playing the proud brother. Our eyes met across the garden. He smirked, thinking he had won. I nodded politely and looked away. Tyler found me before the ceremony. Nervous energy radiated from him. Dad, thank you for everything. The penthouse, the support, all of it. I studied his face. Any guilt there? You are my son, I said quietly. I would do anything for you. It was the last honest thing I would say to him. I know this hasn't been easy since Mom died, but Vanessa is family now. Her brother Derek, too. Family, I repeated. That is important. The ceremony began at 3 o'clock. Traditional outdoor wedding under a flower-covered arch. Since Margaret was gone, I walked Tyler down the aisle, delivering my son to his fate. Stephanie stood at the altar in white. 3 years of performance. She was convincing. Vows exchanged, rings slipped on fingers. I now pronounce you husband and wife. Guests applauded. I clapped mechanically, watching Tyler kiss his partner in crime while 150 people celebrated what I thought was love. They had no idea. The cocktail hour stretched from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. I mingled, played my role. Derek and Stephanie huddled near the bar, celebrating their scheme. Tyler laughed with his groomsmen, relieved that everything had gone according to plan. Are you giving a toast, Theodore? Diane asked. Yes, I have words prepared. Dinner began at 6 o'clock. 150 guests settled at round tables. Tyler and Vanessa sat at the head table. I sat nearby, barely touching my food. Andrew, the wedding coordinator, approached. Mr. Grant, we are ready for the toast. I stood, walked toward the microphone. Officer Thompson stood near the exits, exactly where I had arranged. Conversations quieted. Tyler raised his glass, grinning. Vanessa smiled confidently. Derek Walsh leaned back, completely at ease. I tapped the microphone. Sharp feedback cut through the room. Complete silence fell. 150 faces turned toward me. I looked at Tyler, then Vanessa, then Derek. Took a breath. Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, I want to talk to you about trust, about family, and about betrayal. The room fell silent, except for the gentle clink of champagne glasses. 150 people, family, friends, colleagues, looked at me expectantly. Tyler beamed from the head table. Vanessa smiled, her practiced smile. Derek Walsh leaned back in his chair, completely comfortable. They had no idea their world was about to collapse. Thank you all for being here, I began. As Tyler's father, I have looked forward to this moment for years. But tonight, I need to talk about a different kind of partnership, the kind built on lies. Tyler's smile flickered. Vanessa froze. 3 days ago, I received a warning not to come to this wedding. I pulled out my phone. This is from Sunday night, our family dinner. I pressed play. You think he suspects anything? The old man? No way. Derek says the documents are foolproof. Once we are married, we move fast. 15 years planning this. He has no idea what is coming. He will be in assisted living while we are running his empire. The recording ended. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Let me show you what they mean. I held up papers. Power of attorney documents I signed 3 weeks ago, buried in wedding paperwork. Transfer papers putting all my properties into Grant Family LLC, registered in August, with Tyler as sole manager. I held up another document, a sales agreement between Grant Family LLC and Summit Capital Group. Sale price $18 million for properties worth $45 million, a $27 million loss. The numbers hung in the air. Why? Vanessa has $340,000 in credit card debt. Tyler has $95,000 in loans for a Porsche he doesn't own. They have been drowning in debt for 18 months. Tyler stood. Dad, you don't understand. No, Tyler, you don't understand who you are partnering with. I turned to Derek Walsh. Derek, tell everyone why I fired you in 2009. Derek's jaw tightened. You were my intern. You faked property values. I fired you and made sure every major firm in Atlanta knew. You have spent 15 years blacklisted. I paused. Derek Walsh is Vanessa's brother. Shocked murmurs erupted. Her legal name until March 2019 was Stephanie Walsh. She changed her name, then met Tyler at the June 2021 Atlanta Real Estate Summit. This 3-year campaign was revenge. I looked at my son. Tyler, I hoped you were a victim, but that recording proves otherwise. You knew about these documents. You laughed about putting me in a care home. You called my company our empire. Tyler's mask crumbled. So here's what happens. I have executed a new will. Every asset I own, $45 million in real estate, my cash accounts, my investments, will be donated to the Atlanta Housing Foundation. Tyler, you inherit nothing. Stephanie, you inherit nothing. Derek, you face criminal fraud charges, I signaled. Officer Thompson, 2 more officers entered. Derek Walsh, Stephanie Walsh, you are under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud, forgery, and wire fraud. Tyler Grant, you are being detained for questioning. The room exploded. Derek tried to run, but Officer Thompson blocked him. Stephanie grabbed Tyler's arm, but he pulled away. Guests rushed toward the doors or froze in shock. I watched as my son, my only child, was led away in handcuffs alongside the woman he had married hours ago. The wedding was over, so was my family. I drove home alone Saturday night while Tyler sat in the police station being questioned. The wedding venue disappeared in my rearview mirror. 150 guests, a ruined celebration, handcuffs instead of congratulations. My phone rang. Philip Warren. Theodore, I heard what happened. Are you all right? I am fine, Philip. Thank you for the warning. I am sorry it came to this. Don't be. You gave me the truth when my own son gave me lies. After 15 years, Philip and I had found our way back, but I had lost Tyler in the process. I thought about the mother-son trips Margaret used to plan when I traveled for business, museums, baseball games, weekend getaways. She raised him alone too often. Did that make him resentful? Did he see me as just a bank account because I was never there? But other children grow up with absent fathers and don't become thieves. Tyler made his choice. Sunday morning, 7 a.m., I drove to the Midtown penthouse. My wedding gift. $850,000 worth of real estate with views of the city I had hoped build over 40 years. I let myself in with the keys still in my pocket. The apartment was empty, just floor-to-ceiling windows and sunrise breaking over the Atlanta skyline. I stood there holding those keys, thinking about everything I had wanted this gift to mean. I bought this penthouse to give Tyler the start I never had. I wanted him to have views I had worked decades to earn. I wanted to honor Margaret's memory by being generous to her son. Instead, I had spent $850,000 on a gift that would never be given. What would you say, sweetheart? I whispered to Margaret, wherever she was. Would you tell me I was too harsh? That I should forgive our son? I could almost hear her response. She would say, family is important. But she would also say that values matter, that honesty matters, that you can't reward betrayal just because it is committed by someone you love. I reached into my pocket and pulled out her wedding ring, the one I had kept in my safe since she died 8 years ago. I had carried it with me to the wedding, a reminder of the woman who had made our family possible. I defended what we built together. I told her memory. But I lost our son in the process. My phone buzzed. A text from Tyler. Dad, please, can we talk? I stared at the message. Didn't delete it. Didn't respond either. Just stared. Maybe someday. Not today. Not soon. I looked out at Atlanta one more time. The city stretched before me, familiar and vast. I had fired a dishonest intern 15 years ago. His family had turned my son against me and launched a conspiracy that took 3 years to execute. Derek and Stephanie Walsh would face criminal fraud charges. Tyler would face consequences for his role. I had protected my life's work. But standing in this empty penthouse, holding keys to a gift my son would never receive, I wasn't sure what I had actually won. I had spent 40 years building an empire from nothing. I defended it against the family conspiracy born from a decade-old grudge. The Walsh siblings would face criminal charges. My assets were protected. Justice had been served. But I had lost my son. I set the keys on the kitchen counter and walked out, leaving the penthouse as empty as I felt. Some victories cost more than they're worth. So that is my story. Standing in that empty penthouse, I realized something. I had won the battle, but lost what mattered most. And if you are listening to these grandpa stories, here is what I need you to understand. Don't be like me. Don't let your pride cost you your family. Don't spend 40 years building an empire only to realize you never built a relationship with your son. I was so focused on protecting what I had created that I forgot to protect who I had created it for. God gave me a second chance when Philip Warren called to warn me. But I wonder now if God was also asking me a question. Theodore, is justice more important than mercy? Is being right more important than being a father? I defended my principles. I exposed betrayal. I ensured consequences. And every single decision was legally and morally correct. But I am 72 years old now, and I eat dinner alone every night. That is the cost of being right. My advice to you, especially those of you sharing your own grandpa's stories in the comments, is this. When someone you love betrays you, yes, protect yourself. Yes, demand accountability. But also ask yourself, 10 years from now, what will I regret more? Letting them get away with it or losing them forever? I chose justice. Some days I am proud of that choice. Other days I stand in front of Margaret's grave and wonder if she would be proud of me. I like to think God will judge me fairly, that He will understand I was trying to do the right thing. But I also think He will ask me, Theodore, you had the power to extend grace. Why didn't you? I don't have a good answer for that. If my story moved you, or if you have your own grandpa's stories about family betrayal or difficult choices, I would love to hear them in the comments below. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, these stories matter, and your support helps us keep telling them. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. I know these aren't easy stories to hear. One more thing, the stories you will hear on this channel contain fictionalized elements created for educational purposes. They are meant to teach, to warn, to inspire reflection. If that is not for you, that is okay. We respect your choice to find content that better fits your preferences. But if you are staying, welcome. Let's learn from each other's mistakes together. God bless.